All right, guys, so here we are, and we're looking at the Trello board. So hopefully you've made a copy, you've made an account, you're looking at it. I want to just give you a quick overview. How do you use this board? This looks it might look a little crazy to you, maybe too much to do, like, you have no idea. It might be a little overwhelming. So that's kind of what I wanted to just do. I wanted to help you kind of walk through how would I use this tool. Great, so here's what I would do. So I would be able to, let's say I have applied for a job at Salesforce, right? Let's find a Salesforce job here. Great. All right, so I have it now, and I'm going to take it into here. I'm going to go ahead and write a description of this thing. There we go. Saved. Great. So now this is my Salesforce job, right? I can do a lot of things to it. I could add labels to it if I wanted to, checklists, due dates, all that stuff. So now the description's in there. Let's talk about, we've gone through a fictional kind of, we put in our application in, right? So we've applied here. What happens is if let's say we've applied to Salesforce. Another person that we applied to we applied to Facebook. Great. So on Facebook, we've applied. We've put in our application. Have we heard back? Yes, we have heard back. We heard back from Salesforce. They said they loved our application. They'd love to talk to us, right? Great. So they're going to schedule that. Okay. So it's been a week now. You've applied to Facebook. You've applied to Microsoft. Now we also applied to Apple. Great. So we've heard back from Facebook. They told us they're not interested in us at this time. Salesforce, though, we just had our recruiter and phone screen. That went really well. And in each of these places, I'm taking notes. Now, why are we doing this? Why are we moving this up? Because I want to know, I want you to know where your job search is failing, because that's where you need to focus. This is just like programming, right? You need to know where your methods, your functions, like where are these things failing so that you can focus in on that specific area. Let's say I have 50 companies and applied and I haven't heard back from any of them, or there's a bunch of them where I heard back, but there's nothing for them to do, right? Like they've all told me no. If I have stuff heavily in these two categories, that means my resume sucks, and I need to go back and I need to hack my resume and make sure that that's working really well. So, but what I wanted to do is I also wanted to remind us what the best practices were. So after I have this recruiter phone screen, at the end of the interview, like, hey, I'd love to, you got my email address, I'd love yours if I don't have it, or for example. But what I would do is I would send a thank you note. Hey, thanks for interviewing me. I hope this opportunity works out. I really love the opportunity of working from Salesforce. Now, some companies here will give you a take-home assignment. They'll say, great, before we go any further, we have this assignment, we'll ask everyone to do it. You can do it there. You might be able to just skip that. So maybe Microsoft, I'm doing the take-home assignment at Microsoft, but I'm on my first round interview. This is my first kind of interview with Salesforce people. I've done that. This is past the HR. This is past the recruiter phone screen, right? If you made it past this, great. If you see you have a ton of names here in this list or in this list, in these two lists, and that means that you're not great at phone screens. And so I would do research on how to handle phone screens really well. I'd check YouTube and say, hacks for phone screenings, how to answer phone interview questions, things like that. Take home assignments. You can, if you're stuck there, then that means some of your technical skills need some work. But we go to the first round interview. Thank you, email sent. Second round interview, right? And so once again, if you're stuck in these areas here, then that means that your interview skills need some polish, that there's something wrong. If you're not getting to that second interview, then maybe you're coming across as really bored or really tired or really something, right? And then maybe it's a technical interview. This is a whiteboarding interview where they're gonna or they're gonna make you write code or answer questions. That's kind of where this sits. And if you have stuff stuck here, that means you need to brush up on your technical interview skills. Now, also inside each of my jobs, every time something happens, I'm going to write a comment like had a great first and second interview. We'll work on arrays in technical interview, right? So these are things that I'm noting, and I'm adding these things, and I'm realizing okay, I need to do something about this. So you'll see my comments will grow. I'll go into the final interview. Thank you, email sent. And then our ultimate goal here is that this column is full of a ton of different offers that you get to choose from and use. So that's a little bit of an overview on how to use the Trello board. I hope it's helpful. The main idea is I wanted something really quick that is going to just help you track where you are with your job searches. You can get as detailed as you want in this. I would encourage you to take notes. If you're having trouble with your job search, I would encourage you write down things that have previously stopped you in the past and move them along, get them going, and you can see where you're stuck, gather data. And then once you have enough data, once you've done, 30, 40, 50 job applications and you're realizing, then that's the area of your job search that you need to focus down on, and you need to make sure that is working, you can increase, you can make better. So the only thing I would say with that is these guys here, right? Like these two, you're going to get ghosted a lot in this process where you're not going to hear nothing. You're just going to put your application in and it just goes to la la land. Why? Because we have ATS systems now that filter out your application before a human ever sees it. So you might not ever really even hear back from people. So this doesn't quite mean that your resume sucks. But that's why we use the resume building tool, because I really feel like that's going to help you tailor your resume specifically to every job. So hope that's helpful, and I hope this is a great tool that you'll use from now on.